Hello, everybody. Welcome to the weekend. So the layout I have for you today is in collaboration with an online crop over at the My Scrappy Life Facebook group. That Facebook group is Miranda's Facebook group. It's fabulous, and there are these wonderful monthly crops. I love them, and I am so super excited to be sharing both my challenge and my layout with you today. We get into the challenge. Let's talk about my layout. I'm going to be scrapbooking 3 photos today. This is a page from my vacation album. So these 3 photos are 3 photos from James Madison's house in it's called Montpelier. That's how he pronounced it. I feel like it should be more French and the R should be silent, but I guess not. Anyway, so I am going to start by matting my 3 photos with this dark blue pattern paper. I'm going to be working with 49th and Market's Everywhere collection. Once I have my photos matted, because then I have the size right, I'm going to create a couple of strips from some different pattern papers. And you could kind of see, I was kind of showing you with my hands at the beginning of that video how I want to have this kind of layout set up on my page. So while I cut down all these papers and get these kind of strips or blocks of pattern paper onto my layout, let's talk about the challenge. So starting this year, I am going to be running a countdown challenge on each of the monthly crops. Well, I should say most of the monthly crops, not all of them, mostly because some months I can't participate. It depends on what my schedule looks like. So when I can participate, I will be hosting these countdown challenges. So the countdown challenge is I choose 5 elements, and you will have on your layout, you need to use 5 of the first element, 4 of the second element, 3 of the third element, 2 of the fourth element, and 1 of the fifth element. Does that make sense? I hope so. Okay, so I am gonna cut down these papers. I want to have kind of stripes or big blocks along the left side, and I want them to line up with my photos. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm kind of cutting those pattern papers down, and I'm also going to ink those pattern papers up with some Hickory Smoke Distress Oxide ink. This challenge is to use 5 rub-ons, 4 colors, 3 clusters, 2 flowers, and 1 circle. Now you are more than welcome to use more than that, but not less. So in my video, you'll notice, or in my layout, you'll notice I used 3 flowers, not 2, which is totally fine. You can add more, just not less. I hope that makes sense. If you have any questions about the challenge, just go ahead and leave a comment in the description box, or not in the description box, on the video. If you want to play along with the challenge, I will leave the Facebook group with the challenge linked in the description box, as well as any products I used today that I think are still available, or that I can find that are still available. I'll go ahead and link those down below as well. So I decided I really loved this branding strip, but I wanted it to be a little bit thicker, so I put it on top of one of the pattern papers, and that's going to pull in my 4 colors for sure perfectly. Once I have all of my blocks of pattern paper cut down to the size I want and inked up, I'm going to go ahead and ever so carefully lay them out, and then ever so carefully glue them down so that they stay nice and straight. And I think that this turned out really good. I love how this layout turned out. It was super fun to play with. I am really, really happy with it. I love this collection. It's so fun. It's And now there's a new one that I think I need too. If you haven't seen the newest releases from 49th and Market, they have a new travel collection coming out, and it's absolutely the cutest. It's so cute. And I think, now don't quote me on this because I could be wrong, but I think that the tones and stuff might be able to mix and match with this one a little bit too. So now that I have all of these papers down, I'm going to go ahead and work with my rub-ons. So from this collection, I have 2 of the big 12 by 12 sheets of rub-ons. This is actually the first collection where I bought these large rub-ons just to try them to see if I liked them. Spoiler alert, I think they're fabulous. I am going to go ahead and use 2 of these color wash rub-ons. They're really, really big, and I want to place them down the side of my paper of my white cardstock. So that's my first plan, is to use those. The next thing I want to do, I have this other 12 by 12 set of rub-ons. It has all those beautiful buildings. So when I bought this collection, I went for as many embellishments with those colorful buildings as I possibly could. I knew I wanted to use this collection for part of our vacation, and a lot of our vacation was touring houses and being outside and, walking around in the outdoor markets in Charlottesville and all that stuff. So I really thought that those buildings in this collection would be awesome. So I got as many embellishments as I could that have the buildings. So here's my idea for the first little set of rub-ons here. I am going to go ahead and add those big blocks of color along the right side of my page. The rub-ons do come with a little stick that you can use. I really like to just use my Teflon bone folder. I think that it works really well, and it's a little bit more bigger and more substantial. I feel like I can hold it a little bit better, get the pressure right to get the rub-ons up really easy. I am also cutting these rub-ons, so I want them to kind of go off the edge of the page. So what I did for that first one was I cut one in half, and you'll see here I'm going to do it with this more colorful one too. Again, pulling in all 4 of the colors for our challenge. I think I used 5. I used exactly 5 rub-ons on my layout, so that was good. And you can see off to the side there, I have those banners in the orange and the navy and the green and the pink that go with this collection. Those are like the 4 colors that I'm going to keep trying to bring in. Here is that really big building rub-on. I'm going to place it down at the bottom, and it's actually going to be more of I'm going to add a little cluster down there as well. This one was a little harder to get on to the page. I'm not sure why, but I just took my time and did a little at a time so that I really got all of those pieces from the rub-on onto the paper. I think it's because the rub-on was really intricate. Like there were like all these like beam lines, and that's the only thing I can think of to call them. And then up here I'm adding some of the pink splashes. That's what I'm going to call them, splashes that were on that rub-on collection as well. Now let's talk about flowers. So my countdown challenge says 2 flowers. There are no flowers in this collection, so I had to dig into my 49th and Market stuff and find some flowers that I thought the colors would work. And so we are going to use 3 flowers. I am using the Vintage Artistry Tranquility washi stickers. So this turned out really good. So the colors matched really well, and by adding 3 of them, the flowers don't look out of place. They look like they belong, and it was an intentional thing. The other thing you'll notice is that a lot of the flowers, I'm using them as bases to kind of peek out from under some of my other clusters, which I thought would work really well. Now here come those banners. As soon as I was going through all of my supplies with this collection, I knew right away that I wanted to include all of these banners. And then I was sure I had all 4 of my colors represented throughout the layout. I'm going to use that "Here We Are" as my title, and now I'm going to go through the laser cut embellishments and choose a couple of different fun embellishments to add. So I'm going to go with some cameras. I'm going to go with a little pocket watch. And I'm going to go with some stamps and things. So these photos are of the master bedroom, or Dolly Madison's bedroom. And I did definitely want to add some journaling to this layout because I just think Dolly Madison is one of the coolest people ever. Like she was a firecracker, and I love that. So I'm going to go ahead and start to stick all of these pieces down onto my layout. And as you can see, I kept my design pretty simple, but also really fun. I love how this layout turned out. It turned out so fun. I think that I'm super happy that I chose this 49th and Market collection for some of my travel photos, for sections of my travel photos, because I think that it just turned out so, so nice. So I'm just putting the last little pieces of my layout together. I'm adding a couple of little laser cut embellishments, and I've chosen some icons to really kind of set off my layout. I do really like how I used the flowers. That was probably the hardest part of my countdown challenge, which is so funny because flowers are usually like, I am all about the flowers. And there were even flowers like in these photos. So it was really nice to be able to kind of go through my stash and find something that added that little bit of feminine floral touch without being too overwhelming and still cohesively working with my collection. And there's that little pocket watch. I think that's the last little bit that I added, this last little pocket watch. And then I'm just making sure that everything is adhered down really nicely and nothing needs some extra adhesive. I'm also going to add some butterflies. I think the butterflies in this line are so cool. They're like map print butterflies, which is a little bit unusual, but fun, like really fun. So I'm going to tuck, and that also adds some of that more kind of feminine elements to this layout, considering the photos that we're scrapbooking was kind of my idea. And I think this is where I call this layout done. I don't think I add anything else. I'm giving it a once over. And I'm also looking to see, like, I'm going to add some of these darker blue stamps, and I'm going to add it like behind the butterfly here because I felt like the butterfly was kind of getting lost and it needed a bit of a contrasting color behind it, just so you kind of draw your eye up there. And you can see my 3 clusters, the one with the title, the one to the right, and then down at the bottom. And that's where we're going to call this layout all done. I hope you will come and play with us over in Miranda's Facebook group. I would love to have you join us. I would love to have you post your projects and see what you can come up with this countdown challenge. And I will talk to you all again. I think on my schedule, the next time you're going to see me is Monday for Maggie Holmes Monday. I'll talk to you later. Bye.